Now 2 planes are flying in close proximity to each other.
So we need to do vectors.
Something has to happen. An immediate turn.
Ready.
Welcome to Opposing Bases Air Traffic Talk, an aviation podcast by 2 air traffic controllers and rated pilots who love to talk about flying, controlling, and everything in between. The show is for entertainment purposes only and should not be used as a substitute for your instructor, your supervisor, the FAA, the NTSB, or your CAT. The show will give you a better understanding of how things work in the National Airspace System and maybe even make you laugh along the way. Please welcome retired Army pilot Alpha Golf and first officer at Penguin Airlines, Romeo Hotel.
It's Saturday, August 15th, 2026, episode 449. On today's show, we'll talk about squeeze plays gone bad, learn creative IFR clearance pickup techniques, and solve all of the world's communication problems. What's up, BG?
Hello, everyone.
You like that little add-on there? I don't even know why I said that, but today we're going to do it.
Excellent. I'm ready.
How have you been?
Good. Mm-hmm. I had a normal week. No overtime. This is pretty much a miracle. Not sure how that happened.
Is there a future of overtime next week, maybe? Or
yes.
No? Oh.
It's short-lived.
Can't have 2 weeks off in a row.
No.
What is it, another mid?
Yes.
Poo-poo.
Yes. When did we record last? I can't even remember.
It was last week on like Sunday maybe or Monday. It was at the beginning of last week. It might have been a week ago.
Okay.
I have to look. I'm confused. I'm not at home. This isn't my normal recording place. I'm all out of sorts. If I get wonky on internet, I'm sorry. I'm on hotel Wi-Fi. I'm in Texas on my first trip in the 737.
Yeah, yes. Tell us how that's going.
Good. I had a few days off, went to the beach with the family. That was awesome. And then I got welcomed back for a 3-day trip with a check airman. It's like a 3-day check ride. No big deal.
Fun. That sounds fun.
It is okay. He's used to flying with brand new hires in this fleet. So I'm sort of an anomaly coming over with a little bit of time at Penguin and all the things that maybe they would have spent extra time talking about, like all the administrative stuff. I've done that for a little bit.
You could skip that. Right.
Yeah. So I think it's a nice break for him. And it's just learning a new plane, how it feels. I flew one of the shorter, smaller versions of the 737 today, the 700. Our approach speeds were very normal.
Okay.
Yeah. Like in the sim and the max, 160 range is normal over the numbers. Today, 140. So big difference.
Yeah. Why is it like that in the sim? Because of the plane you're flying and the weight?
Yeah. I mean, the longer and the heavier they get, the faster we fly them. So this is a 700, which somebody in the chat room probably knows how old this plane is and when it came out, but it's a much smaller version. So significantly lighter and more manageable approach speeds, similar to the 7576, actually.
Nice.
But it went good. It was the first time I've flown since June, a real plane. And I think I did okay. The landing was a sensory overload. Here's what happens. I remember I told you what was the number one thing I was excited about on this plane? It has to do with the thing I'm pointing to right now.
Oh, yeah, it's like the intercom, right?
ICS. Yeah. Okay, so we have this like rubber band system. It holds the button down.
On the 7.5.
No, the 7.5 did not have that. We didn't have
the 7.6.
Your way of communicating was take your left headset ear off and just yell at each other for the whole trip.
Right.
That was how you communicated on the 7.5. So this plane is made for civilized pilots. We can wear our headset. I can hear him through his boom. He can talk. Like we're just talking. No yelling. It's amazing.
Vox?
What?
Voice activated?
Now that...
Or do you have to push a button?
There's a button.
Or is it just hot mic'd all the time?
You could make it where it's spring loaded. You can hold it down, but it's over in a weird spot in this plane. So we just rubber band it down. It's hot. We make it a hot mic.
Okay.
Okay. It works. Totally fine.
Okay.
I can hear great. I got noise canceling headset. I'm like, this is amazing. I can hear all the radio calls. I didn't miss a single call today.
Wow.
Here's where it bit me.
Uh-huh.
At 50 feet, the airplane starts telling you how high off the ground you are. That's coming out of a speaker. The noise canceling almost got rid of it completely. I heard a very faint 50. And I'm like, huh. Is it me?
What was that?
I heard 30, 20, and 10. Landing was... My next landing won't be good. This was a good landing. Okay. And then I'm trying to think. I'm like, why did that feel weird? It's my headset. And I said something to him walking out. I said, hey, is it me or could you barely hear the call outs? He says, I saw your headset. It's specifically your headset. It cancels it out.
Uh-huh.
He said, mine, I can hear it, but I said, okay, well, maybe I'll take an ear out tomorrow when we get to like 500 feet because it's sort of important to hear that. It's a whole part of your rhythm on landing. So anyway, despite barely hearing the call outs, I used my eyeballs and saw the runway coming up and flared and I didn't rip the wheels off. So
minimally flared.
I
feel like the flare in that plane is...
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah.
No, you arrest the descent, you get flat basically, and the nose wheel's not much further off the ground when the mains touch. I mean, it's maybe a foot or two. It's super close.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Felt good to fly the plane, get a feel for it, and 2 legs tomorrow, 2 legs the next day, and I don't know what's after that. They'll tell me on Monday.
Okay.
So, anyway, yeah, it's good. I'm very happy to be in the plane and happy to be done with Denver and all the training and just all of it.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyway, tell us about your plasma cutter.
Oh, yeah.
And your sunburn.
Yeah, that's the first. So, it's so hot, and it's not better in the garage.
Mm-mm.
And with MIG welding, you can't really run a fan because it can mess up the gas. You need the gas blowing over the weld. And a fan will blow the gas off of the weld, and you'll get these really ugly welds.
Nobody wants that.
So I'm hot. So I'm not going to put long sleeves on. And I thought, I'm not doing a bunch of like upside down. There's not sparks flying onto me. I just wore a pair of leather gloves, which are yours that you left here, by the way. I commandeered them. and a t-shirt. Well, I was in one position and just moving down, but my arms were in. I got a sunburn from UV light from welding. I also burned my Achilles. Almost tried to burn through my Achilles tendon with the plasma cutter.
What's a plasma cutter?
You know what? I don't really know. I don't know how it works. It's blowing gas and electricity because there's not like something in there. It's using air and electricity, and it's shooting through metal, and it does it very, very well. It also shoots shrapnel off literally molten, through the back of my jeans, through my sock. There's like a 1/4-inch size black hole in my sock. And it came to rest on my Achilles tendon.
Did you go hiking on a volcano?
No, it just worked on my lawnmower in the garage.
Well, we're glad you survived.
Yeah.
And you can still walk. Shall we begin?
Yeah, we probably should.
All right. Man. Since OB448, we have a ton of new members on the Penguin Club. Juliet Alpha, Romeo Bravo, Romeo Whiskey, November Fox, Mike Lima, India Alpha, Juliet Bravo, Charlie Bravo, Juliet Whiskey, Romeo Romeo, Papa Bravo, Alpha Papa, Bravo Charlie, Juliet Foxtrot, Delta Sierra. New on Patreon, Alpha Papa, and a PayPal drop from Gulf Mike. Did I do it?
Yes. Talking about a squeeze play.
There we go. Perfect. Now it's your turn.
If for some weird reason this show has become part of your weekly aviation routine, the best way to support the show is by joining us on Supercast. Mm-hmm. Supporters keep the show ad-free and community supported, and they also get more of what makes Opposing Bases work. Early access to full back catalog, private YouTube live streams, bonus audio, and supporter-only email access, so your questions and feedback can become part of the show. So, if you want to help keep this thing going, head over to opposingbases.supercast.com and join the crew.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Play music.
Hooray. Pull up.
Review and announcements.
Review announcements.
Do you need a rest? Look at the announcements before you decide. We're going to have to share those. What do you want to do?
You've been reading the review lately.
Okay, I'll read it. All right. From Romeo Sierra Zulu, decoding the arena. See, I made up a word. Decoding the arcana of ATC. I don't know what that means.
I don't know that.
Apologize if I've offended anybody. OB is Click and Clack, cross-pollinated with Richard Feynman. It is priceless at explaining the arcane, unpublished rules of why ATC does what it does, blended with sheer beauty of a manual transmission. To this 25-year single-engine pilot who still works on his IFR rating, OB provides hope that someday I may finally understand. Well, thank you for leaving a 5-star review. This might be one of the last ones. We need more reviews. If you're listening right now and you haven't done one recently, and in your fruit player will let you do it on the public feed, please go give us a review.
Yes, please.
And if it's 5 stars and doesn't say any words I can't read, we'll read it on the show.
Maybe even if it does have words we can't read.
Your turn.
Okay, the announcements. Number 1, Supercaster Tango Charlie is a CFII. Congrats. Left a note. Gents, as always, I really appreciate your perspectives and that you continue to put the show out. I forgot to send the notification, but I passed my CFII check ride this spring, finally adding it to the dossier after 28 years of flying.
Crush that word.
Yes, thank you.
Very
I found your
spelling. Total trap.
Yes, very French. Very French feeling word. No offense. I found they're very hard words. There's a lot of silent letters. Sorry. I found your show by happenstance back when it was in single-digit episode numbers, and I was just starting to train for my instrument rating. The perspectives shared on the show from both of your backgrounds and all the listeners who write in have been a fantastic means of maintaining a suitable ramp for the penguins to climb back out of the frigid waters onto the iceberg and quite possibly even reverse the effects of global warming on that particular iceberg, expanding the habitat a bit. Great. That's congrats on your double I, and I think that could be a new slogan for us. Reversing global warming on local icebergs.
And for those that get mad that we chuck them into the ocean, they do it voluntarily, and now we let some of them come back every once in a while.
Yeah, those of you that don't like it, that penguins are going into the ocean, don't like penguins, because that's where they get their food. Just think about that.
Number 2 from Supercaster Bravo Golf. Hey, RH and AG, after years of procrastination and delays, I just passed my private pilot check ride at the Legoland Delta, north of America's finest. Bravo. Congrats.
Do you know where that is?
I think it's out west. near a Marine base in the southern part of California.
Oh,
I think that's where that is.
America's finest Bravo. Huh. All right. Well, congrats, Bravo Golf.
Mm-hmm. You get number 3.
Okay. Supercaster Golf is instrument rated.
Congrats.
I got my private in 2009. After an 8-year break from flying, I started flying again 2 years ago and purchased a Cirrus 22 Turbo. Nice. 9 months ago. I started getting hot and heavy into IFR training 4 months ago, and having listened to OB for the past few years, you guys had already given me so many new penguins on my shrinking iceberg. Al Gore was right. That gave me an incredible foundation for understanding so much about instrument training. Thank you both for making me a better pilot, Golf.
Excellent.
It's funny you mentioned Al Gore.
Mm.
Because that's kind of related to something we're going to talk about.
Cool. Excellent. All right, moving on. I hit the wrong music button. It's now.
Oh, no.
I had deleted it. I'm playing Sneaky Snooper.
Okay, Sneaky Snooper.
Okay, I'm going. Today's Charlie Alpha segment is brought to you by Alpha Golf. Take it away.
So, as mentioned, Al Gore invented the internet.
We just made a bunch of people turn off their YouTube. Go ahead. Continue alienating our listeners.
Anyway, I don't know the story behind that or how that got started, but it's just something people say. Anyway, the internet, as we have discussed in previous Charlie Alpha segments, it did away with many aspects of life up until that point. One of which that impacts me specifically is banking.
Oh.
I was thinking about this today.
Okay.
I do not have a bank.
What?
No. I mean, I have a place where my money is,
On paper.
but it's all virtual.
Uh-huh.
There is no physical location.
Uh-huh.
So I want to talk about banks because I don't think I'm alone in this. I think there are people that don't ever go to their bank. And like my kids have never been into a bank.
Really?
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, you're going to tell me that you go to the bank all the time.
I don't. I don't go to the bank all the time. The only reason I go now is I have a safe deposit box there.
Okay.
And it holds some important papers.
Tell
that
people
I could
about that.
I could. It's a box that's in a back room in this place, in this bank, a local branch, and I have a key. They have a key. We put them in at the same time, pat our heads, do a little circle. The door opens up, and I get my stuff.
Critical documents.
Critical documents that I should probably have at home in a safe, but I keep them there. I don't know why. That's where I keep them. Where do you keep your important stuff?
They're in a safe, a very large.
Okay. Fireproof?
Yes.
Okay.
It is not. You're not carrying it out of here.
Because it's bolted to the wall or the floor.
Yeah, and it's heavy.
Okay.
It's super heavy.
Okay.
It's large and heavy. It would not. You would have a time.
And the only other reason I go there, and I don't go inside, because you could do all the checks on the phone now.
Right.
If you have something to deposit, you can just take a picture of it on your app.
Yeah.
And it's in the account.
So, and for my bank, if you need to deposit cash, there are places you can go and machines that you can go to and deposit the cash.
Like other credit unions that play nice with your bank?
Maybe.
Okay.
I've never done that. I've gone to like an ATM that's a designated deposit place for this institution. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't go to the bank anymore.
Okay. I didn't think about that. Pre-internet, it would have been much harder. You know what was happening before the internet too, with banks specifically and flying? Checks. There were entire companies that flew checks around.
Whole fleets of airplanes dedicated to hauling checks around.
Full of paper. Just bringing it to a place for someone to scan it and move money around electronically. Now that doesn't happen. Those are gone.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. That was the trail end of that was happening as we started.
Yep. On the mid, there were check haulers.
Yeah. This was a time building thing. People got a lot of their time hauling checks. That's super interesting. So what's the version of that now? Medical specimens?
Yeah, at least traffic for us. Yeah, I'm sure they were doing that back then too. But yeah, that's all we have at night is, well, boxes too for Purple Box, but mostly specimens from Coat Factory Airport. Mm-hmm. Interesting. What else about banks and not going to them anymore? Will your kids ever have to walk into a bank? Do you think that?
I don't think they would have to if they didn't want to.
They probably have to go physically show up to open an account in their name, right?
Mm-hmm. I think I would encourage them to have a local bank because it is kind of annoying. Still, even in this day and age. Like if I need to go get a bunch of cash, I got cash out to pay for my daughter's car. Mm-hmm. That was a pain.
You have to get a money order.
Yeah, or a cash advance.
Yeah.
Or a cash advance, and that ended up being a pain. Mm-hmm. So there are still some hiccups in that. And somebody's going to tell me, oh, you could have done this for cash or done that. Right. But
I tasked you with doing a Charlie Alpha segment about 20 minutes before the show started.
Right.
And this is what you came up with. I like it.
This is what I came up with.
Tell everybody what a Charlie Alpha segment is briefly.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't done one in a while.
Those of you that don't know, occasionally, I don't know, what do you think? 4 times a year, maybe?
That's probably about right.
Once a quarter? We do this segment that's unrelated to aviation, really. Sometimes it is. But it's about some ancient technology like banking or telephones that were connected to your wall with a cord.
Things that we were exposed to that maybe many of you have not been exposed to.
Right. Some of the younger of the crowd. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're sort of a transition generation that existed pre-internet and post, we're just part of that. Like, I don't know there's got to be a name for this. Like, our parents are similar, but they spent probably half of their lives, right?
Mm-hmm. Without it,
pre-internet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are a weird bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, that remembers, that knows life before and after. And I mean, kind of adult life before the internet was useful enough to start taking over things. Because by the time I moved out and was on my own, it just was starting to, where you could do stuff online that was convenient. Mostly it just was information and...
Yeah, nobody really understood it. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't really doing anything.
Now it's everything. Like your every app, everything you do is connected to the internet.
Yeah. So, I saw this video. This thing popped up in my YouTube stream or whatever.
Mm-hmm. More internet.
About off the networks. I don't know if it was way over my head. Mm-hmm. But like mesh. No. I don't know. I guarantee there are people in the chat right now that know what I'm talking about. Because they're way smarter. But there is this growing subculture of non-distributed internet networking that doesn't go through a company. Right. It was very strange, but it involves like soldering things and hacking.
Phone's listening to you. It knows you're welding and burning through your leg with a plasma cutter. It's like, let's throw some confusing internet conspiracy stuff at him.
Just gotta bring him down. Davey, bring him down.
Shall we move on?
Probably.
Excellent. I like your Charlie Alpha segment.
Oh,
it was fun. All right, I'll play music.
Didn't really prepare.
Time day feedback. All right, I'll get number one.
Okay.
It's long, and I don't want to hear you complain. There's only one. From Emperor Captain Romeo Kilo RH and AG. So here's a question that some of the rookery of penguins, myself included, were discussing in the chat on OB449. I might need to refer to the Terps ELF. A lot has been discussed lately about circle to land approaches. It's been mentioned that at some airports, that is all they have is a circling approach. In this day of age of RNAV and RNAV, RNP approaches, what does it take to have one of these approaches created for these airports with only circling approaches? Who would start the process? Local pilots asking or something else? It's a really good question. Somehow there has to be in the background, I would guess, that there's some sort of automated counting going on for IFR operations into an airport. And there would have to be some need. I mean, I don't think they have enough resources to just go dispatch TERP selves to all these airports, but I'm sure it's based on some sort of need.
Yeah.
Although there's a couple in our airspace that we ever have IFRs there that have approaches, like down south, Montgomery County.
Yeah, that's very rare.
And
but they do. They have two.
Yeah, they have two.
Yeah. We even have a private airport up north on the boundary to the north.
Whiskey Charlie Airport?
No. Micro.
Oh. They have an approach now?
Yeah. I don't know that it's published, but someone came and made an approach for that airport that at least the users of that airport can have access to. Same for our helicopter approach into the helipad. Now that's proprietary, and that's it belongs to that company. But someone terped it out.
Yeah. If anybody knows, tell us the answer. How does this become an approach? One day it's just born? Is it all automated now? Is it all AI driven? I don't know. Let's find out. If you know, tell us. If the Terps ELF is listening, how does it, a VFR airport, turn into an airport with approaches, or one with approaches that are circles turn into RNAVs?
Yeah.
Inquiring minds want to know. On a completely different topic, RH, I knew at some point you were going to share with the community your sim experience and aircraft change that was coming up. I want to say your bonus audio was a great way you brought everyone up to speed with it all. Thank you. It was very honest and a great mentor lesson to all the fellow aviators on the podcast. Proud of the way you handled it. When you do this job long enough, it's bound to happen to have a bad day in the sim or on the line for that matter. I have, in my almost 29 years of doing this box is also checked. In fact, we have discussed a few more, let's say, interesting events. They all have been great lessons for me. And Rick, you've been a great mentor for me and my initial training here on the 756 and moving into the 737, the plane that you fly. So thank you. Huge help going through all the training. A great resource. So he says, welcome to the new fleet. Your call-outs for you to memorize. What's it doing now? That's a new one. And the all-important, here we go again. LOL. Parking checklist, Romeo Kilo. Parking checklist is the last thing you hear on a flight. That's the last checklist we do before we give it to the airplane to another crew. So today we didn't have any what's it doing nows. We did a lot of talking about what it could possibly be thinking because it's a computer. It's got to think.
Right.
And when you give it something new, so we're coming in on the arrival, and I think today was probably the most benign way to be introduced to this fleet in VNAV. with only one exception, we followed the arrival down. There were no changes in the restrictions. There wasn't any like level offs that made us way too high. It was perfect for me the first day on the plane. Nothing like super crazy, right? Except for when we got a speed reduction, probably 20 miles before we were supposed to, and the computer was like, what do you mean? If I slow down now, it's never going to work. I don't know what to do. Right. And it takes a minute for it to redraw that path, which is all it's doing.
Yeah.
It's redrawing a vertical path from where you started to where you have to end up. And if you're going slower, that angle changes. So that was the only time today. And it actually came up with it really quick. The time I was making fun of it just now was probably double the time it actually took it to recalculate and give us a new path. Path is the word. You want to be on path.
Mm-hmm.
So, people say a lot of bad things about this airplane. I'm sure I'll have things that I don't love about it. But so far, I'm not seeing a bunch of it. Some of it's exaggerated. I get it. It's an older airplane with a lot of new stuff and some really old stuff. But so far, I really like the plane.
Oh, speaking of that plane. Almost always, that plane cannot make Kilo 2.
Okay.
Or the users of that plane have no interest in making Kilo 2. One of those is happening. But rarely does anyone flying that plane make Kilo 2.
Okay.
Which is important right now because if you miss it,
you're going on an airport tour.
You're going all the way around the airport or on the mid. Sometimes if I'm there, I'll let you do a 180 on the runway and go back to your exit. But anyway, this plane that came in the other night easily made it. Like, it didn't look like they really even had to get on the brakes. And I said, you made Kilo 2. Nice. I didn't expect that. He goes, yeah, flaps 40.
I get to do that.
So I'm guessing that's not a normal flap setting.
I get to do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Normal landings in this fleet are flaps 30. But for whatever reason, they decided to do a flaps 40, which we would reserve typically for a shorter runway, 6,000, 6,500 foot range, not triad distance. That's a 10,000 foot runway. So there wasn't any moisture or anything. Was it wet? Was it rain or anything?
No.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. Maybe they'd been in there before and knew how long it was going to take for them to get to the terminal, and they're like, dude, if you don't make Kilo 2, we're gonna be stuck out here for an hour. So
yeah,
let's do a flaps 40. Now, my buddy says flaps 40s, he's had a couple of good ones, but those are anomalies.
Okay.
Did it look like they smashed onto the runway?
It was dark. It was hard to tell.
Tons of extra drag, and it's kind of an unfamiliar look. That's what I hear. So wish me luck. Mine's tomorrow.
Okay. Good luck.
It's a rite of passage.
Okay.
All right. Fancy jet music.
All right.
Take it away, AG.
All right. This week's show topic is brought to you by Emperor Captain Charlie Romeo concerning squeeze plays. Hi, gents. This, I'm sure, does not rise to the level of being on the show. Au contraire, sir. Speaking of French. Not only is it on the show, it is the show topic. But was a curiosity of mine. I was hanging out at Duke the other day. Okay.
Poor you.
Okay. I take back what I said. This is no longer on the show.
Oh, no. You're going to love this angle.
Oh, do we get to make fun of them?
Correct.
Okay. Never mind. It's back in. Sorry. I was hanging out at Duke the other day, and a plane?
I think plane. Yeah.
Plane landed on 23 right. The controller then cleared the waiting. Are you saying that?
Acme.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Acme. Cleared the waiting Acme jet to line up and wait. When she did that, I saw that it looked like there was a plane on a somewhat short final, and I thought to myself that it looked awfully tight, but I assumed it was my perspective from where I was sitting. All right. I've experienced this as a passenger before.
We're going out there now?
Yeah, whoa.
What?
The controller then asked the just landed jet to depart the runway as soon as possible, and shortly after cleared Acme for takeoff. At this point, I really thought it was close. I, again, assumed it was just my perspective. Well, right then, we painted animals on the tail jet that was on final, broke off the approach and went around. Unfortunately, my feed of the ATC broke up a little bit at that point. I don't know who made that call. My question was, how often does that happen at an airport like Duke or Triad? I would assume it would be more likely at Taco Truck since it is uncontrolled. Thanks, love the show, Charlie Romeo.
All right, I'll paint the picture here. We got a landing jet, a Acme line up and wait, and a Frontier / Animals on Your Airplane on final.
I want to talk about just generally what a squeeze play is. What do we mean by that?
What we mean is there is a compression of time and distance that we are trying to get another operation in front of or immediately behind, which is in front of this third airplane. Something that is in it. See, I'm making this definition while we...
Right, yeah, I know, but I was trying to think of this earlier, like, how would you define it?
I think it's misused.
Okay.
Some people think that anything that's close was a squeeze play. No, maybe it wasn't. A squeeze play for me is like a sandwich. You're putting something in between two other operations.
Okay.
And the speed of both the trailer, the number 3, and the number 1 affect, to a large extent, the success of you getting number 2 in or out of this problem. Right. That, to me, is what a squeeze play is.
Right. So you know that you're going to be right up on the minimum separation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which is how some airports run all the time.
They
have to do it all the time.
Now, while we're talking about it, you said a couple things in here that are, I think, important for us to, if we don't talk about it in the blue notes here. This should not happen at an uncontrolled airport.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah.
Taco Truck is uncontrolled.
Yeah, you shouldn't be luauing yourself.
No, you shouldn't be. You should be initiating your takeoff roll after the preceding traffic is off the runway and in sufficient time to allow the person on final to feel comfortable and safe landing behind you.
Mm-hmm.
The rules are kind of cowboy at non-towered airports, and you can get away with a lot. But don't do anything like that. You need a controller to work a squeeze play. That's what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. It requires a controller to work it.
Right. Some governing body that's outside of the problem.
Someone who's responsible for knowing if it's going to work.
Right.
Not just a bunch of... I mean, because you're really guessing. If you're at a non-towered airport and you're number 2 and you're trying to get out there in front of somebody on final and behind a lander, you're just making it up. You have nothing to gauge this on, right?
Right. Yeah. No, totally.
So, all right. So why don't you talk about the rules on what's kind of unfolding in this problem? I said I was going to talk about a second thing, and I can't remember what it was right now. I'll get back to it.
Okay. So the initial jet that's landing, the number 1 plane, must exit the runway. They must be clear of the runway before Acme, before the middle sandwich plane can start their takeoff roll. So this landing plane crosses the threshold. They put Acme in position
Immediately. Like as soon as
they can.
Goes
right.
by.
Exactly. Stick them on the runway. They get in position. They're sitting there at the end. They should be ready to go.
And they know. They understand what's happening.
Right. Sometimes a controller, especially at a place like Triad, where it can kind of feel a little bit lazy and just, it's not crazy. It's not midway. We're not, this lock and load constantly. It's important for the controller to prep the pilot. Hey, this is going to be close. I need you to be ready. You have to be ready. When I say go,
it would sound something like this. Acme 123, runway 23 left, line up and wait, traffic, Airbus, 4 mile final, question mark.
Yeah, better not be too much closer than that.
Right. And then for the pilot's thinking, well, they're just putting me in position. How much of a hurry can I be in? Okay, you're right. You have to make a 90-degree turn. You have to get on the runway. But by the controller giving you that traffic, they're painting the picture for you to understand. When I start making sounds come out of my mouth again, I want you to begin your takeoff roll.
Yeah, I would prefer that you had the brakes on and power applied.
Yes.
Prior to me talking.
Which a controller can't tell you to do, but you can certainly do it if you can.
Yes,
Sorry.
be ready.
I interrupted you.
No, totally. You must be ready.
Okay, so what happened here? The number one airplane is the delay here. Why is it taking?
Yeah, they're waiting for them to get off the runway. The controller says, hey, I need you to get off the runway. Stop being so slow. And the landing, the third plane, is listening to all this, going, yeah, this isn't looking good. Okay, so what has to happen is Acme, once that landing plane clears, Acme can start their roll. Acme must then be a nautical mile down the runway, 6,000 feet, and off the runway. Airborne.
2 important criteria to remain legal.
Right. And yes, very important. And depending on what kind of plane this was, 6,000 feet,
Not in the summertime.
they're
It's gonna
probably
more
going to
like
still
8.
be on the runway. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And so you can't have 2 planes rolling, sharing the runway.
Okay.
That can't happen.
No.
They have to be airborne.
All right. As hard as it will be to play devil's advocate for Duke, why wouldn't they just wait? Just wait. Why make Delta be in the middle of this? Why run a squeeze play?
Yeah. Because they probably have a release time.
Because they're going
Or
to
the
their
plane,
base.
like 3 planes behind them have a release time. And if you miss it,
They're done.
they're done. They're going to miss their time. The next time might be 45 minutes. So there's some pressure to make this work. And if you're at these sort of cutoffs, we usually tell trainees that plane on the runway needs to start rolling, and not in a lazy way. Like, they need to be going when the landing plane is on a 2-mile final.
And that is super close still.
And that makes it close.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about the math here. Plane number 2, the Acme, that's on the runway, aimed down the runway, but stopped, has to get to acceleration to be able to rotate. The other plane on final's doing
Already doing 140.
exactly. So
Right.
the math, it doesn't math. If it's, you have to get this other airplane moving down a runway from stopped to airborne, while the other one isn't slowing down anymore. They're already at their slow speed. There's nothing more that can be affected if, change-wise for the number 3 in this play.
Right.
So everybody's watching it going, this is never going to work. There's a point on the scope where you just know, if this plane isn't moving at like maybe 50 knots down the runway, this is definitely going to be a go-around.
And if you're looking at that plane on final and their ground speed is like 160, you better back that up. You're cut off even more.
Yeah.
A Navy P-8. What is that, a 73800 or 900?
Yeah, it's
They're cruising, man. They're cruising.
They're all on.
You can't do the 2 miles with them.
No, so maybe make another number like 3. So your trainee rule is contingent on ground speed, an element that some trainees forget. Like, hey, these aren't just the same.
It's not a 152.
Right.
going 60 knots. Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a jet rolling down the runway. We don't know who initiated the go-around. It could have been the pilots of plane number 3. It could have been the controller. What is the legal cutoff here? What has to happen for this to be legal? Even though it didn't work, you can still keep this legal. What kind of rules is the controller dealing with at this point?
You mean to allow Painted Tail to
how far can they take it before they have to cut it off? Let's just say it was controller initiated. How long do they let this go?
I mean, the rule is that plane cannot cross the threshold if Acme is not 6,000 and airborne.
Have you ever been in their tower there?
Yes.
They have a front row view to that threshold, whereas
Yes,
at
they're very
Triad, you
close.
have plausible deniability with this weird
Yeah, that's
angle.
like too far away, yeah.
The tower's taller now, but
It's still pretty far.
you still can't tell exactly.
It's over a mile away.
Yeah. So there's plausible deniability on crossing the threshold while you're watching Acme Jet kind of lift off.
Yeah.
In their tower,
Yeah, it's like a Dr. Seuss thing where it's like leaning over, looking straight down at the threshold.
yeah, they can see the airplane moving across. Like they know right the second it crosses. So, all right, you said it has to be that Acme Jet would have to be airborne and 6,000 feet down the runway before the painted animal plane crosses the threshold. When you realize it's not going to work, you're the controller. It's not your fault because you're an amazing controller. What do you do? How do you fix this?
The only fix to make it legal is to send the plane on final round, which I think introduces all kinds of other problems.
It does.
I contest. Now, this isn't in every situation. Some
Right.
situations. But, okay, Acme is going. They are going to fly. Mm-hmm. This plane is not stopping. It is going to fly. Now, I don't know exactly what that point is as a controller watching this in the tower, but you could tell at a certain point when they have eaten up 3/4 of a 10,000-foot runway and they are going, I don't know, 130?
Oh, at least.
What's rotation?
This morning rotation was 148.
Yeah, so
In
you're
the,
flying
in the short, stubby version.
Yeah, so they're cruising, man. There's no way this plane isn't going to fly. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't, it's a problem. It's going to be a problem.
Okay.
Right?
All right. So you send tail animal plane around.
Now, 2 planes are flying
Right. And
in close proximity to each other.
So we need to do vectors.
Something has to happen, an immediate turn.
How many degrees? What do we need for divergence?
You need 15.
All right. Now the
But
jet.
you can't turn a guy into a parallel.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know who's taking off over there. It's it's tricky.
In the
It's very
most benign scenario at Triad, if you're using the left runway for a south departure, they're getting what? Is it still a 190 off that runway?
The departure is
Yeah.
issued a 190, yeah.
So in theory, we have 2 things that can happen, but basically at the same time. You can give the go around runway heading because you're using your eyeballs. You have visual separation at least for a couple more seconds before they get very close together because now they're the same speed and they're only like a mile apart.
Right.
Right. So you have visual separation, and then the jet that took off is going to eventually turn, which you should have visual that whole time. So you could theoretically give the go around runway heading if somebody on the parallel runway was an issue and you couldn't turn them right. You don't want to. I don't think you want to turn them left. I wouldn't feel like that felt great. It's kind of turning through the other airplane.
Right.
Why don't we just tell Delta to stop their takeoff?
Yeah. No.
Right, because now we're going to have 2 airplanes touching down on the same pavement. You don't do that.
Yeah. And I mean, you know that you may be at a point where ATC says cancel takeoff clearance, and that's not happening. We are not. We can't stop now.
Right. Right, because you're going to hope. Let's say you did it. It was very early on. That's a dumb move. I'm not saying this would be a move either one of us would do. cancel takeoff clearance, and then you still have to send the jet around. So now
you're still sending them around.
Yeah, you've created two, just a flyover weird situation. It's just a bad. No, your option is really all you have is to go around, and some sort of turn or visual separation to keep them apart. I remembered what I wanted to say. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I just think that in some cases, not every case, this is not a blanket statement across the board, but it would be safer to have the error. I had an error. I had a separation error because I didn't have 6,000 or whatever. But I let that plane land so that I didn't have two planes airborne very close to each other.
And everybody in the tower would understand your logic on that, and other controllers. Yeah. But QA, QC...
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely not.
You just witnessed that you didn't do anything. They would say, you watched this happen, you knew it wasn't going to work, you allowed it to happen. They don't like that.
And so that's not what we don't do that.
Right. No, I understand.
I just think that in some scenarios...
I agree with you. It would be safer to just let it... Yeah, it's an operational thing, but everybody was separated. Right. The other plane was airborne. Maybe it was 5,800 feet airborne.
Right.
Somebody can do the math on that, even in an archaic triad scenario. They can do that math, but... All right, so let's just assume the controller initiated it. It wasn't the pilot. The pilots probably would be a little more comfortable continuing further, at least in my experience. They would be willing to go a little bit further, knowing full well that jet's taken off. And it's hard from that angle to see when they're airborne. They don't know the rules all the time. Mm-hmm. They're going to touch down. So they're going to go as far as they can before someone says go around. Nobody wants to go around. Is anybody going to get in trouble? Now, you had to go around. It was within half a mile of the runway.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah, no one's going to get in trouble. It's paperwork for us.
Mm-hmm.
But the first lander, the top piece of bread in this sandwich is the moldy one. They're the ones who ruined this plan.
And they could have missed the taxiway. There's no high speeds at Triad. I think they have them at Duke on that runway, but I'm not sure entirely. They might be fake high speeds.
Yeah, like ours.
Yeah, they're not. The math doesn't really.
They're just angled. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't take them very high speed. Like you'll go to the grass at Triad.
Advantageously angled, but not.
Yeah,
not meant to go fast.
I remembered what I was going to say. This is when you see the funny news stories where they're making a big deal about it. The plane went around and two airplanes were almost touching. Like this is the scenario that would end up on the news.
Oh, right.
And someone would have it on camera, going around. So there's two airborne. Oh my gosh, look how close they are. Our listeners know this, but I'm saying this for anybody that's not into aviation and you just don't know. There are a lot more airports than not that have the same surface, the same piece of pavement that is used for arrivals and departures. So this squeeze play has to happen all day long, or the airport just stops moving.
Yeah, you would have delays, outrageous delays that you would be complaining about.
Yes, and parallel runway airports, where there's 3 or 4 different surfaces, they can dedicate one to departures, or 2 or 3, and 2 or 3 to arrivals. And that's not most airports. That's a handful of airports in the NAS, the busiest ones. Mm-hmm. But Charlie's and certainly Deltas, they're using one surface for both all day long.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. Now, I have seen, speaking of pilot-initiated go-arounds, I have seen pilots go around when it was unnecessary. We don't like it. We're going around. Mm-hmm. Well, you did that.
Uh-huh.
That was not necessary. This was totally going to work fine. And the pilots go around. They get jumpy.
And I get it. They think it's going to be close, and they certainly don't want to be on the ground if somebody rejects their takeoff and we're landing behind them. Bad news bears.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good. So
I think people need to understand that that's what this is protecting for.
Yes.
That's what this rule is protecting against, that scenario.
Right. It's not just the 6,000 that's important. It's the airborne. So we know they're not rejecting their takeoff. We're not going to have two occupants one
Right.
going, one slowing down, and one still airborne aimed right at them,
Right.
that would be bad. Very, very, bad.
Yeah, very bad.
I don't think Duke's the problem here. I think it's funny to talk about him in this way, but it's possible. I'm playing devil's advocate for them.
Yeah.
The operation I saw there one day, it seemed like they have a arrival runway and a departure runway. So it's possible that they're not used to the squeeze plays that we have to do all the time at Triad. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And their timing could have been off. That the first jet certainly was slower than you thought. But there could have been some other elements in there that just frequency of use, and they probably got made fun of for the rest of the shift. The other controllers are just going to blame the other controller. They're not going to blame the first jet. It's the controller's fault.
No. Yeah.
Now what are you going to do?
You messed that up. And they're going to say, well, the elevator's out of service and we've had to go up these stairs.
Is that true?
That has been happening
Oh.
at Duke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you really start limiting your tower personnel to those. That's a tall tower.
It is.
It's over 200 feet.
Okay, what would happen if you got to work tomorrow and the 4 or 5 humans that were assigned to the tower, there was no elevator? How do you feel like that would unfold?
There are people who would have a hard time. They would have to take a break somewhere halfway.
I just told this story. You remember our tower got redesigned in the middle of construction
Yeah.
because the elevator went out at Atlanta,
Oh, right.
and it caused major heartache. Like, the whole watch schedule had to be redone. They had to come into work early, set up break stations.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Because that's a tall tower, too.
yeah, you're going up there once. I'm not coming
Yeah.
back down. We have to have a place for them to be up there when they're not working. All the things. And powers that be said that's never happening again. So our tower was originally only supposed to have one elevator. They said, nope, no more. We're never doing that again. There's going to be 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the thing that did that.
At least that's what the legends say. So
Well, did they have to change the size of the tube?
I believe so. There was some, the tube changed dimensions. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Although, I mean, they're not, what are they, 20% of the footprint
The tube?
of the tube, the elevators? They're not.
Yeah, I mean, you get 2 stairwells plus the areas around. I don't know. Maybe half.
Okay.
That's interesting. So that's where all the money for anything else went.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Like the windshield wipers we wanted on the shades. Yeah, instead of the shades and the funny air conditioning system. Yeah. Nope, we spent it on elevators.
Yeah, right.
What else on this one? We haven't talked about squeeze plays in a while. I thought this was a good chance to, take care of some big ticket items that people take for granted.
Yeah. If I'm the controller and it was the arrival that initiated the go around, I'm totally saying that was going to work. That was working.
That was why did you
It
go
was
around?
working just fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll accept that.
There are places that are super good at this. I was a passenger at Midway, staring out the window, and we're next to depart. And then I see a line of planes in the sky, like 3 miles in trail forever. And I thought, man, we're going to sit here for a while. Oh, no. Maybe it wasn't 3. 3 would be really tough. A 3 mile gap with luau would be super tough to hit.
So that's something we don't really talk about. At the busier the airport, the less likely that there's going to be another opportunity. So when I said, hey, why don't we just let Acme wait? 1, they're going to miss their time. 2, there's nowhere else to put them in this line. Even if I got a time 2 minutes from now, I don't have another gap. This is what Final has given me. I have to accept it. I can't squeeze another airplane in there. It's like, this is the gap they gave me. I have to put this plane in that hole.
Right.
Or it's not going to work. And it's on me. as the controller.
Right. Yeah.
I'm biting my tongue. I'm not saying anything mean about them.
About Duke?
Mm-hmm. I just wrote it. I'm not saying it.
It's really hard not to.
Excellent question and scenario. One you didn't think that would make the show. Charlie Romeo, thanks for sending it in, and thank you for supporting the show.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on.
Feedback time.
Feedback.
Would you like the first one?
All right. Number 1 from Supercaster Alpha Bravo Mike, AGNRH. Alpha Bravo Mike from Coffee Town checking in. Wanted to get your take on a situation from a couple weeks ago. The setup. I was flying an instrument instruction flight with a student. Classic Pacific Northwest IFR playground. Stable layer sitting from 1,000 to 4,000 feet. Perfect for IFR training. We were in a hold when another pilot came up on the coffee approach frequency declaring an emergency. VFR only pilot in IMC asking for help. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. What happened? The frequency was busy, and the controller initially missed the emergency nature of the call and thought the pilot was requesting a clearance. After a couple of back and forth exchanges, it was clear the emergency wasn't registering, so I stepped in and flagged it for the controller. That got her full attention on the pilot immediately. The pilot asks about tops, hoping to climb above the layer and find somewhere to descend. The controller wasn't sure, so I keyed in again with the top since we were only a few miles away. The pilot climbed above the clouds, got vectors to an airport, and landed safely. One thing I also considered but held off on, getting on frequency to help with the G1000 and autopilot configuration. We all know how quickly VFR and IMC can go sideways. Yes, it's a serious problem, but I wasn't sure if that crossed the line from helpful to distracting. My question. I tried to keep my transmissions minimal and wasn't sure if I was helping or just adding noise to an already stressful situation. Would love your take on when it's appropriate for another pilot to speak up and when it does more harm than good. Wow, this is a quite a scenario here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be very careful in how I answer this because I think it could be taken the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certainly a time, there are plenty of times, probably more times than not, where you probably shouldn't, especially in a situation like this, where you shouldn't get on the frequency. But from how this is being described, I feel like that was warranted.
Agreed.
I think we can see that based on how the scenario changed after that information was given. The TOPS report is that's exactly what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. If the controller doesn't know what the TOPS are and you know what the TOPS are, and that is critically important in this scenario, yes, furnish a TOPS report. Absolutely. I think what you did here was really good. I think you probably were instrumental in the outcome of this scenario.
I agree.
I think it's just you have to be careful because this could go the other way, I think, really easy. I think in a time-sensitive, time-critical sort of emergency where another pilot believes the controller doesn't understand the situation, but maybe they do, the chiming in. I think you just have to be really careful with this. I like it. I like what you did. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I think you did the right thing. And I think this was the correct application of chiming in.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I think you have to be careful. What do you think?
Agreed. I think the way you've told the story, I think what you did was appropriate. The follow-up question, if you should get on frequency to help with the G1000, I think that might have stepped over the line of, robbing the frequency. There would be a chance for the controller to, hey, if the pilot had said, hey, I need help setting this up, or solicited for that, it would be a great opportunity for the pilot and the helper pilot, you in this case, to use 121.5 and get off the frequency that the controller's using to control other airplanes. I think that's the element that is important here. You're waiting to key up. You're like, oh, I don't think she understands. This is bad. And you did it. You keyed up. You said, hey, they're in an emergency. They're VFR into IMC. Changed the whole tempo of what the controller was doing. Mission accomplished. You did the right thing.
Yeah.
Going one step further past that, you got to let it unfold. And I think you did the right thing by letting it unfold.
Yeah. I think if it got to the point where the emergency pilot, was struggling or said something like, hey, I don't know this, then it might be a good time.
Yeah. Hey, I know I can help him. Is there, just think about it from that point of view. You can't do it on this frequency, or somehow the controller's got to get rid of all these other airplanes that they're worried about and they're responsible for to allow this to unfold. And it's not easy to just say, hey, isolate the emergency to this controller. Just have them, okay, I got to ship all these airplanes to somebody. So,
right. And that somebody has to know what they're all doing.
Right.
There's there's going to have to be some process of briefing who you're dumping all these planes on.
Mm-hmm. If a controller is ever in the who said that, if that's on their mind, who said that, or because they're the driver of all the conversations, right?
Right. Hopefully, yeah.
And in an ideal situation, they're the one conducting who they talk to. They're waiting to receive calls from new pilots in their airspace. But if a random pilot keys up, I agree with you. You have to be very careful how we say this. It needs to be timed in a way that if I don't say something, I think this is going to get bad.
Right.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because it's not your frequency, and I think we have to have respect for the person who's in charge of that, of everybody on that frequency at that time. And it sounds like you timed it well. It worked. You got their attention. They fixed it. Airplane landed. Mission accomplished. Like,
right.
Don't think that, hey, I could have done more. You did a lot.
Yeah.
You did a lot.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think well done. Well done. Don't take our reservation and caution the wrong way. I think you did a great thing. And you were paying attention. You're situationally aware about what's going on while you're doing a training flight.
Right.
I just want other people listening to use caution with that and to sort of understand that there is definitely a time and a place for that.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Number 2 is audio.
Yeah.
You want to say?
Don't be surprised also if a controller reaches out. Hey, are there any pilots on frequency that know this? That's a great time, then to respond when it's solicited.
Yeah, there's just a couple of plays that have to happen before that. The pilot has to say something specific and be very direct about what they need. The controller has to go solicit that information from pilots, and then it could open up the room. I mean, there could be several pilots that know that system or that avionics, whatever.
Right.
And there's not 50 people in the airspace at one time, so maybe the audience is smaller than we're giving it credit for, but timing is everything on this. I think that's where you're slowing down and make sure it's not misunderstood. This seems like it was timed perfectly. It did its job. That is harder than I think people may give it credit for. The timing was critical.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I that's all I got.
Okay, me too.
Okay.
Number 2 is audio. Tell me when you're ready to hit play from Supercaster Charlie Bravo.
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Hi HE and RH, Charlie Bravo here from just outside the Navy Flight Test Delta. I just finished listening to OB443 on IFR pickups. I'm catching up through the back catalog, and I'm up through the early 100s, so I've heard you talk about this topic a couple of times, and I've always had a question come to mind, but was afraid to ask as the feedback wouldn't be timely. So, here we go with my first feedback question. Would it be possible to do a hybrid of the ground and airborne IFR pickups? I'll explain. As an instrument instructor out of an uncontrolled field, I generally teach the method of picking the clearance up on the ground before starting up and then calling back for release at the hold short. This allows digesting the clearance before, as RH says, we've left half our brain in the FBO, and provides an opportunity to get at least the departure clearance programmed in the box before being under the pressure of a clearance void time. However, there are times when it would be convenient and efficient on a clear and a million day to depart VFR and not hold up the conga line of planes at the hold short while we call back for our release. Also, there are times when the ATC phone line is busy or we're waiting for an inbound to cancel IFR before we can get released on a nice VMC day. To my question, is there a way to work with ATC to do a hybrid approach? First, if planning to use this approach, can we call ATC to get our route clearance beforehand and then tell them we'll be calling for the clearance airborne? I know that ForeFlight and other products offer expected route clearances, but these aren't always accurate in our busy airspace outside the Capital Bravo. Next, if waiting at the hold short after receiving our release, but we can't get our release due to an IFR inbound, can we tell the controller we're going to launch VFR and we'll pick up our clearance airborne? Will they be okay with that? Finally, if we can't get a hold of ATC at the hold short to pick up our release, would it cause mass confusion and chaos if we launched VFR and contacted ATC airborne? Thanks for all you do to help us be better partners in the NAS. Holding for release, Charlie Bravo.
Love the way you did that hold for release at the end. I saw you taking notes. There's a lot to unpack in this one. Go.
There is. I love these questions, though.
This is a new spin. I don't think we've heard it asked this way. This is a new twist.
Yeah. I like it. Okay. So let's go over the questions. The hybrid approach of calling ahead to get your expected route, but then departing VFR and getting your clearance in the air. I think that's totally fine.
I do too. If you're very clear with the person that you talk to, hey, I plan on taking off VFR. That means a 1200 code, not the one you're about to give me. I just want to know what to have in the box. It's VFR.
Yeah, don't even give me the code.
Yeah, great point.
I don't even want the code.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
Just give me the route.
That's great. That's a great idea.
Just give me the route. I'm going to go. I would lead with that. I'm going to depart on a 1200 code. I just want to know what the route is so my student can program it in.
I love that. Okay.
That I totally support. I actually support all of these with some caveats.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the expected route one. Okay, good. I like that. Do you have anything on that one?
Nope. I love that idea. I didn't think of it.
Okay. The second one was you got your clearance, right?
Yep.
Am I getting these out of order?
No, I think the way my brain sorted these, the second scenario is you have your clearance. You, for some reason, can't get off the ground. IFR can't get a release. There's an inbound or traffic. And you think it's going to be easier to leave VFR and then call them airborne.
Yes.
Looking for IFR that you already talked to them on the phone about. Go.
Okay. Yeah, this is the caveat. This is one of the caveat ones. Okay. I think that's okay. In this scenario, in my head, I'm picturing like a jet that's 10 miles out. They've been, they're on advisory. You're on advisory. They're inbound. That's the plane you're waiting for to cancel. You got 10 miles. Okay, fine. Depart. It better be on a 1200 code.
That is a key detail that cannot be missed.
Better not be on your code.
Because if you are on your code, boom, you just violated the regs.
Right.
You just took off without a release on an IFR code. You can't say, but I'm VFR. No. If you're VFR, you're on a 1200 code.
Yes. Now, here's the other thing about that. when you get airborne and you call the controller and say, "Hey, this is us." Yeah, this is us again. Do not be surprised if that is met with some grumpiness. But you being on a 1200 is what's going to pave the way for this to go a little more smoothly. Mm-hmm. I just don't want you to think that it's going to be the controller's going to be like, "Oh, perfect. I was waiting for you to do that," because they're not.
Right.
They're not expecting it. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit unusual, but I think it's okay.
The constraint that you encountered on the ground, there could be more constraints. The controller may still have a lateral issue, an airspace coordination issue. There may be some other compelling reason why they couldn't give you a release, and you've just introduced yourself like, fine, you're not going to ask me to dance? I'm just going to go out on their own dance floor all by myself.
Right.
Whoa. Slow down.
Except hopefully you're not wearing your dance shoes. Okay.
You got to be very careful. You need to be VFR. You need to tell them, and hopefully that constraint no longer exists. You've gotten away from the airport. You've climbed to another altitude. You better have some VFR outs if you do this.
Exactly. And you better have some understanding of what the constraints are. RH is exactly right. It might not just be one plane on final. Mm-hmm. It might be airspace. It might be an entire arrival. It might be a final into the Bravo. You better know the local area and have an understanding. This is a great question that we can address broadly and generally, but is much better answered locally by the people that work that are going to work.
You have the number,
right?
Hey, this is what's happening. This is what I want to do. I think the first approach of both these so far, the first one works the best, as long as you're clear. What was the third scenario? That was it. We already talked about them all.
I think so.
Okay.
What are the other possibilities?
If I think the code is the issue in my head that gives me anxiety. If you say you're departing VFR, let's be very clear. That means you're on a 1200 code. If you mix in the code that you had and you're like, I don't need the release. It's great weather outside. You have introduced a very uncomfortable problem when you key up to talk to that approach controller.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be super confused because this isn't normal. Would you say this?
No, it's not normal. Okay. And just saying that you're VFR isn't going to convince anyone.
No.
And it certainly isn't going to convince the scope who sees an IFR plane airborne when they're not supposed to be.
So this is what you do. Call them up, have the conversation. Hey, does somebody have 5 minutes? I want to talk about this scenario. I need to get it loaded up. I want to depart VFR. What's the best way to do this? Can you give me the clearance without the code? Can I get the routing and I'll call you what altitude works best? There's some traffic constraints here. There's other reasons why it's harder for us to meet these release times. And someone like AG said, locally can tell you, yep, we totally understand. If you can get 5 miles north of the airport at 3,000 feet, all the problems are gone. But you got to get there on your own.
Yeah. Yep.
Good?
I think so. I feel like we might have missed part of that, but
I think your idea is good. You want to have a hybrid approach. You want to be efficient, and you want to be able to get it all programmed. I totally understand that. Just no secrets. Whoever calls and gives you your routing, make sure you're clear. I'm planning on departing VFR. I just want the route, because that's also not normal. They're gonna be like,
it's not.
Huh? Okay. So you're not going to call back for release? Nope. I'm going to call you airborne. I just want to know what should already be in my box. So when you are able to give me a clearance, it's already there. I don't have to do a bunch of typing airborne. That's it.
Right.
To us, an audience, it makes sense. But to that controller, they're going to be like, huh, I've never seen this before.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. That would be a great time to ask that person, hey, is there somewhere I shouldn't go? Is there somewhere I should go? What would be better? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The last one's fun. Who wants it? You did the first one. I'll do number 3.
Okay.
All right. From Emperor Captain Tango Sierra, major announcement. I've officially reached the summit. I've completed the entire opposing bases back catalog. Congrats.
Oh boy.
Congrats, and we're sorry.
Yeah.
Still looking for the best episode? Joke's on you. You're all terrible. I found the show in early 23, right as I was wrapping up my instrument training and heading into my check ride. Great timing. Well, sort of. In hindsight, it probably would have been more useful if I discovered it before I finished IFR training instead of right at the end. We get that complaint a lot.
Yeah, sorry.
I originally tried your recommended approach of listening backwards from the newest episodes, but it felt too much like watching Jeopardy after someone had already told me all the answers to the questions I didn't know I had. So I scrapped that plan, started episode 1, and worked my way forward while keeping up with each new episode as it was released. The sandwich approach is very common.
It's a great approach.
Mm-hmm. But
if you can keep up with it.
Yeah, you're moving in the correct direction, but from different points.
Yeah, we recommended the other way, going backwards, because then it just gets sort of progressively worse.
When you reach your threshold, you stop.
Right.
Today, while driving home to the Pacific Northwest after a road trip to New England, I hit the finish line. 4 years to the day after it originally came out. Somewhere in the plains in the middle of South Dakota along I-90, I finished episode 238, Stand By Me.
That's a great title. I don't remember that episode at all, but I love
Now I have a day and a half of driving left, and honestly, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with myself. I guess I'll have to find another audiobook or maybe even listen to music like it's 2005.
You're in the middle of South Dakota. You could have, on I-90, you could have stopped at Wall Drug. You were seeing the signs sometime back in Minnesota, I'm sure, or Wisconsin.
Is that the only thing to do out there?
You see signs. I'm not even kidding. For like 200 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, Wall Drug ahead. You can't not stop. It makes it so like there's no way. We've been reading this for 6 hours. These billboards. There's no way we can't stop.
It's where we're stopping. Yeah.
We have to stop here.
He continues, or she continues. Seriously though, thank you both for the incredible amount of work you've put into the show over the years. I can say without hesitation that it's made me a better pilot, a better communicator, and a better citizen of the NAS. Thank you. And now, after all this time, I finally get to experience the show the same way everyone else does, waiting patiently for the next episode each week. Cheers, guys. Tango Sierra. Excellent.
Cool. Very, very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That advice was given several years ago, I think when there were like 100, maybe 200 episodes. So let's modify our approach to this. If you want to go listen to the back catalog, you are more than welcome to do that. Mm-hmm. Going backwards would be super confusing at this point.
Yeah, I think so.
Either, so your choices are go back to 1, listen in order as numbers increase, or just stick with now and forever be in doubt that you heard all the secrets of the NAS.
Yeah. There are untold gems buried, never to be mined by us again. The only way they're being uncovered is by you and your pickaxe.
Archaeology of podcasts. Excellent.
Yes.
All right. We do our best to respond to supporter feedback and let you know when you'll be on an upcoming show. AG, anything before the chat?
I do not.
Closing out episode 449 of Opposing Bases Air Traffic Talk. Romeo Hotel.
And Alpha Golf. Goodbye, everyone.
Drop. Opposing Bases is a listener-supported, ad-free weekly podcast. The views expressed on the show do not reflect the opinions or official positions of the FAA or Penguin Airlines. Episodes are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to replace flight instruction. To get on-time access, bonus content, and full archive access, join the crew at opposingbases.supercast.com.